Hello, I'm Monkey Rebel 117, and today I'm going to be showing you my DAZ character uh, creation process. So I've had a couple of friends ask me how I ended up making those Halo DAZ wraps that I posted on DeviantArt a while back, and I decided that I'd eventually make a video, but it took me several months to eventually get to this point. But here we are. So this video will contain nudity because that's what the Genesis 8 models have on their textures, and I am not going to go through the trouble of changing them just to make it not happen. So first up we have our Genesis 8 model that I have imported into 3ds Max. This is a slightly edited model that I've done where I've gotten the UV mapping for the uh, model itself. Let me see if I can find it. Oh no, it's Unwrap, that's what it's called. Unwrap UVW, open UV editor. You'll notice that everything is put in the island. I mean, all the islands for the arms, torso, face, and legs are in the same category. I mean, square. So there's torso, face, and the other good stuff. So, of course, eyes and all that were left alone. But I did the skin because that's what's important at the end of the day for what I do. So I have my separated UVs that I did for it. I also combined the textures to form that quad texture, so it'd be easier on the program I use to create the wraps. And today I'm going to be showing you an example of, I believe her name's pronounced Tanaka from Halo 5. I've never been able to say her name properly, but I have her and I'm going to make a 3D model of her. So, obviously I showed you Genesis 8 female, and now I will show you Tanaka's model. So I have the eyes for Tanaka, facial hair, hair, head, and then the helmet and visor. Helmet and visor just, it's good to know where it's supposed to be when you move the head around. So I made the head fit the body because you want to line it up as closely as possible. And what we're really only going to take away from this is the actual head. So the eyes we don't really need, but it's good for reference when you're fixing everything up later. Facial hair we don't really need, so we can hide it. The hair we don't really need at the moment, so we can hide it. What we basically want is just the head. And it's probably going to have a mouth or something, so it'd be good to get rid of that too. Of course, you're going to need to be able to disconnect it yourself, which should be pretty easy. One way I cheat at doing that, if it's all one model like this, I have my soft selection on, because I edited the neck so it fit the Genesis 8 neck better. But notice how if I select the whole thing, or the whole group, it will select everything because it's all welded together. And that's what you want, something that's welded together almost completely. So, in order to get the mouth, you probably want to do like an unwrap, or whatever you do in Blender, I have no idea, but 3ds Max is what I mostly use. You'll notice that this head has two different UV sections, but you'll notice that the teeth are right there. So, oh, okay, I don't have them separated. Alright, so we're going to have to select this button, select this, select the mouth, select the teeth, select the tongue, and then do the same for over here because it's just a mirror. And I don't know what this is, but it looks slightly important. Yeah, let's see what gets selected when I click on it. Oh, okay, that's part of the mouth. So make sure to select that as well. I mean, I'm going to select that as well. And I have it all selected. Now I can exit this. Then I can go down to collapse all, so it saves my selection as in being the mouthpiece. Then I'm going to separate it. So copy, mouth. Of course, that's pretty lazy naming on my part, but I'm a lazy guy. Delete whatever that was a part of the mouth that I don't want, and delete the mouth from this one. So now I have my basic head model. Just all skin and no mouth, which is what I needed. Of course, keep the mouth and everything separate so when you do final touches after the wrap, you can accurately place the mouth and eyes where they're supposed to be. So I have my head now, and then I have my Genesis 8 model, and they're pretty well overlapped. The neck, truth be told, was a lot farther over here at an angle because of the tech suits on Halo 5 Spartans. So I just simply use the border thing, click the bottom part, use the edit soft thing, and set it at 200 because the model is ridiculously huge. Edge distance of 20. Heck, I might even need to make it 2000. Yeah, 2000, there we go. And then I can easily change and edit the neck. See what I mean? Of course, I wanted to make it as close as possible because originally it was over here like this, and that's not going to work for me. So I shifted it over to the right, scaled it to the left and right a bit to make it thicker. Obviously, there's a method to fix this later on that I'll show you eventually. But for now, we just want to make it match as well as possible. And luckily, it does match as well as possible. So now we can go ahead and move on to the next part. And that is making sure head. I'm going to change the name to head, or let's go Tanaka head target, because that's our target. And then I copy it. Make sure you export it as an OBJ. Oops, I didn't have it selected anymore. As an OBJ. Make sure you put down the location for your 3D model. I normally do a folder called R3DS because that's the name of the program that I'm going to use to wrap. I do an import folder. I do a Halo folder. And then from here on, I make a folder for the character. So I've done Vale, Palmer, Halsey, and Cortana so far, but I haven't done Tanaka. And then I'll change it to OBJ, and I will name it Tanaka Head Target. And then I will save it. And I want to make sure texture coordinates, normal, assuming groups are are selected. Quads, flip YZ axis, pose or like, have that selected. Export materials, create matte library, that never doesn't hurt to have. But make sure optimize vertex, normals, and texture coordinates are not checked. Because if you do that, it will change it a bit. And you don't want that. Especially if you were editing a Genesis 8 female body, because if you did that and imported to DAZ, the vertex would be off and it wouldn't work. So, go ahead and export it. It's going to do its little thing. It'll be done. And now you're ready to import it into the Russian 3D scanner program, or Wrap4. So I'll go ahead and open that up, and I'll show you a template I have that I've done for my other head transfers. Okay, so I now have my Wrap4D open up. Go ahead and make sure you open up not you. I'm going to open up one of my template projects, and then I'll explain the whole process for it. Okay. So, I've now loaded up my template that I'm going to use for Tanaka. First off, as you can see, I have my Genesis 8 female model right here. And then when I click on this one, it has my Tanaka head loaded right here as well. So I'll go ahead and explain the whole graph to the right now. I just wanted you to see that I have successfully imported these two objects. So, as I'm going to go ahead and hide these again with this light bulb. So what we have here is called load images, and that's the textures. So on my left side of the graph, this whole section, it's mostly related to the DAZ 8 model. On the right side of the graph is mostly related to my Halo 5 HUD. In other words, Tanaka's head. So this would be the target or the goal, and then this is the head shape you want to match, and this is the model we want to wrap around the head. In other words, Genesis 8 model, and then the in-game model we're trying to match. So, load image right here. This is important. Make sure you change the. Oh, I should also mention, if you want to add anything, you got to hit Tab somewhere. And so if I hit load, I can go to load image, and it'll bring it in there. and then I can hit this and then attach it to whatever I got to attach it to. Of course, you can also delete it by hitting delete. So I have load image, and I put my Genesis 8, my special quad made Genesis 8 female base texture low quality. I say low quality because the real quality would be like 8K, but I cut it in half to 4K just to save myself some, some room. Of course, if you're doing tattoos and stuff on your character, I recommend doing the 8K. It just takes a little bit longer to do the textures. So if I were you, I would do this low quality version first, and then on your final version, I'd switch out the low qualities with the high quality versions. Of course, I do the quad method so that it's all done in one go, and I don't have to do it 4 separate times with 4 separate materials. So, moving on. Load image Genesis 8, and then my target is the actual 3D model I have selected. Remember, it has to be OBJ. And I have selected my Genesis 8 female base quad, and I have it set to scale 1. So, I have set the blue color, so I can remember which one it is, and then my right is a red color. So my load image, of course, is Tanaka's head texture, and I don't know why this is project directory. That is unique, but nonetheless, moving on. Let me see if I can change that. I do not like how that looks. That bothers me a lot. But it works, because obviously it shows the texture right there. Of course, you got to zoom in to get a better look at it. It shows the edge faces on default, I believe. So go ahead and hide that again. Now, repaired geo is just a way for it to check if it's damaged in any way and it won't work with the program. See how it's zeros across the board? That's pretty good. I mean, that's what you want. But if I go over to my Halo 5 model and I do my repair golem geometry, you're going to see that it has an issue, and I believe it points it out right here. It looks like the model is missing a vertex or two. I'm not vertex, a polygon or two, which sucks for me because I have to go and fix that now. But I don't have to, but it'd be preferable if you did, so then you get all the accuracy as possible. But I'm going to ignore it for now, and it's going to bite me in the butt later. But this is just a demo anyway. So we have finally talked about our textures, our models, the repair golems. Now here's the select polygons feature. When you do this, this lets you select a specific section of the model, and I have selected the skin because the skin is only the thing I want to work with. I have deselected the eyeballs and the mouth and teeth for the model because I don't want to have to edit those later on. I don't want to have to refix those later on. So I just decided to mask them out of the picture. So I have them selected, and now when I go over to subset 01, it's going to separate the model that I have selected from, the polygons that I have selected from the model. So it's taking in this model, and it's taking in what I have selected and separating it. And now that I have my separated model, I'm going to go select more polygons from it, and this time I'm selecting everything below the collarbones because I don't want any of this to be edited or to attempt to wrap around the body because the Tanaka has no body. I'm only doing the head. So this is just to protect it from deforming horribly and, messing up what I want to do. I have also deselected, or in other words, selected in this case, the back of the eyes because I don't want those to move at all. And I've done the vertices inside the ear canals. But nonetheless, so I have that set up. And now I didn't do the nose yet. I left the nose as is. So that's what I have selected because I want those to stay frozen and not be affected by the wrap. And then it takes that into consideration and puts it in my wrapping section. But before I get to the wrapping section, I have to map out the vertices I want done. So I need to go to mapping, and then I got to go to visual editor, which it automatically switches to, and then I got to put some points on the model. So this thing, if I were to do it right now, it'd probably do a pretty good job of mimicking the head. But see how the eyebrows are labeled right here? You want the eyebrows to pretty much match the textures, and that just makes it more detailed and more accurately morphed or wrapped, I should say. So this is my usual method. I usually start on the nose, 0, 0. I go for the base of the nose, and then I go for the edges of the nose. Try to mirror whatever you do. So luckily it's telling me the last one I'm on. So 0, 2, okay. And then I do one over here. And then I gotta do one over here. Just do it as closely as possible. It's not gonna be perfect. So you notice how my 5's a little bit higher than my 4 on Tanaka. You can just select it and then drag it to fix it. Of course, you can always hit Control Z if you mess up. But always keep track of the numbers because you don't want to be in the hundreds and realize you're one number short. Because then you got to go find that number and then erase all the ones you messed up on. Or you can also find the one you messed up on and then hit Alt, then click on it to make it disappear. So let's say 0. I don't like it. Or is it Control? It was Control, sorry. And it will delete it and lower it from the rest of them. So that's very handy if you're trying to get rid of that. Now moving on, I have my nose selected. Now let's go ahead and do the middle of the upper lip right here, and for you it's right here. And now let's go ahead and do the lip itself. I can't really tell where that begins and ends. I'm assuming it ends right there in a curve. And then I follow it over here, match it. Is it the bottom? I can't tell. I'm going to go ahead and assume it's this part. And then I'm going to go do the corner. Let's go ahead and do this one. And then oh, look, see, this one's also broken. It's missing a vertex over there. So that really might bite me in the butt later. But I'll find out another time. Now I got the basics of the lips down. I could also just start following this line and placing my pieces. And you want to try to mirror it as closely as possible. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 up. And then it's this one. And then it's this one. Again, if you mess up, you can easily move it around. So now I have that. And I'm not really going to focus that much on the rest. I'll do the cheekbones. Is that the cheekbone? I think so. So this goes this way, up, and then alright, now where's the cheekbone over here? This is the cheekbone, and this is the cheekbone. Ooh, it's a major off. So let's move it down here. Looks pretty evenish. It's a little off again, but alright, got my cheekbone selected. I want to do the chin. Then we'll do the neck, where it connects to. And then we will do, how am I going to do this one? Because I want to do this chin part right here. Obviously this one's more defined. So if I just assume I'll do that one right there. That look pretty close? I think so. Doesn't have to be perfect again, but you want to mirror it so you don't get super deformed results. Luckily, the DAZ Genesis model is built to be efficient. I don't think that's accurate, is it? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's over here. There we go. And then I have something close at least. So let's go ahead and do the ear now. Usually I put a lot more dots, but like I said, this is just a demo of what I do. Do the ears. Ears probably won't come out as good as you'd want them to, but that's all post-editing anyway that you can fix. Is that where the hairline would be? Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and do the part right here. I always try to keep it center as much as possible, but sometimes you just can't tell where the model's altered, and nothing you can do about it. I mean, you can fix it, but that's a lot of work. What line did I do this one on? This line. And then I did it right here, I believe. You could always try matching it up with the ears, going directly down. Alright, cool. And then finally, this section right there. And that follows this line, so I just gotta lower it a little bit. And if you want, you can always do behind the ear as well. But it's usually pretty good at that. But gotta get the hairline now. And then I gotta do the brow. This would probably be dead center. Now let's do the eyebrows. This one might be a little tricky sometimes because you just try to match the eyebrow as closely as possible. What I try to do is do the arc. Like, notice how this Genesate one, there's an arc right here, and then I do the end tail right there. So where does it go up? But sometimes you get models like this where it's like kind of hard. Where does it begin? Where does it end? Ooh, that's a big difference. It's probably ending over here then. Ooh. So you just got to play around and hopefully you'll find out what it is. Okay, that kind of fits. The cranium, I'm not really going to edit that. But it's the eyes that are going to be really important to edit. I probably should do this section right here. So with the actual jaw. Okay, we'll do that later. But for the eyes now. So obviously you're going to get some models that are different. This section right here is more edited than this one is. But it's the same concept. Corner. Which one should I do? Corner. Let's do this one. And then the corner over here. Move it over a little bit. Corner right there. And then I'm going to do this one and then this one. Ooh, this one might be a little off. But again, post work you can fix. Select, 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 and select, select, and select. There we go. Now I got my eye pretty much done. So I have the basics, the mouth, the nose, the cheekbones, the jawline a little bit, the neck, the back of the head. I can do one up here too, I suppose. So one right here, move it over to the right, and probably click on this one. Okay, look, I missed one. 45 and 46. I gave an extra one around here somewhere. I lost count somewhere. And now, I know 31's matching up pretty good. I messed up on 38 somewhere. Ah, I see now. I never gave this one a proper position. So, that means I have to redo everything from 35. So, undo everything. And 35 was where I messed up at. There we go, 35. Now I can go redo everything I just did and then not be mad about it. But the good thing is, usually when you do it the first time, you're faster the second time. And I can't remember what I marked before, so I'm just going to wing it. Was it this one? Oh well. There we go. So now I'm back to speed, kinda. I'm pretty sure I marked some other stuff. Oh yeah, the back of the head. I did one. center mass, and then this one's probably the center. Okay. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me again. So now I have that section done, and I also like doing the nose too, because sometimes it ruins it. And you gotta fix that yourself, and that is annoying. So, we have our model done partially. Of course, more morphs means better detail. So, let's go ahead and see how this bad boy turns out. So you gotta go to wrapping now, and it's gonna say, okay, you have your pinpoints selected, everything's all ready to go. What do you want to do? Don't do auto compute because that makes it run over and over and over and over again with every change you do, and that takes a while. So you can just go ahead and go to compute, and it'll do its magic, and it will create your wrap to match your points that you selected. Luckily, she even shows you the process of it doing it. Okay, it finished. Oh no, it didn't. It's still loading. I can't move anything. And then you'll notice that the head will fix itself right now, or match itself as closely as possible. And remember, we have the eyeballs and the mouth and teeth and tongue hidden, so they're not affected by the wrap. There we go. So now we have our wrap. Pretty well done, I'd say so myself. The body got edited a bit because the body wasn't angled like this before, but we can fix that in post editing. So, the head is what we wanted, and the head is what we got. So that's perfect for us, for our situation. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the viewpoint. So this is not hidden, which is what I have it selected as. So I can hide it and then unhide it. So we have our target. This is original Genesis 8 base. This is Tanaka's head. See? And then this is our final wrap. Notice how it did rotate, even though I had it selected to not be morphed. But at least it's not horribly disfigured. It's just rotated, so that's fixable. So we have our body now. As you're probably guessing, thinking, why isn't she her texture color? Well, we're still using the Genesis 8 model, and it's still using its Genesis 8 textures for now. So now that we have our wrap done, it's going to go to Apply Subset. This is going to reconnect the parts that we selected, in other words, the eyeballs and all that, back to its thing. So, now that I got that squared away, I can go ahead and show you. Okay, no, it's just applied. Okay, cool. And once you get here, it'll say, okay, now that you reapplied the eyeballs and the mouth, teeth, and tongue to the model, you can export it. So it will show you, watch, I'll hide this one, and it'll look horrible like this. So the eyeballs will be out of place. It's all sharing one texture, so that's why I did the quad thing. So the eyeballs are using that one head texture. Genesis 8 female texture. And you don't want that. But you fix that in the next step, which is the 3D modeling program of choice. I use 3ds Max. Oh look, it hecka messed up my nostrils right here. So that's not good. Notice, oh, it's being pulled from side. I probably ordered the number wrong. So now let's go back to mapping. And then I'll take a look. Yes, I got them backwards. I did 47 on the left and 48 on the right. On this one, 47 on the left, 48 on the right, when it's supposed to be 48 and 47. Of course, I can just drag it and move it, so now it should be correct. But now I got to re-wrap it. So I'll go back to here, get to a comfortable position, and hit compute. And now it'll do its thing. And of course, we got to do the whole waiting thing again. But I'm lucky that it was such a simple fix. And if you don't go and fix that vertice hole thing now, if you didn't fix it when we first started, and you decide, oh, I think I'll fix it after you do all the mapping, you're going to have to redo the mapping because it's going to have extra polygons and maybe vertices. So it's going to be confused and it's going to ask you to remap it. And that's going to take you a while if you're redoing it, and no one likes doing that. So I always recommend fixing the holes first. Of course, the eye socket hole, you don't got to worry about that because that's not going to really affect anything. So now that's reconnected again, and I can take a look at the nostrils, and they're perfect. Nice. So let's go ahead and go to viewpoint so we can see our monster eyes and monster mouth, which is right here. So there we go. Everything checks out. The ear canal checks out too. It wasn't damaged. That's why I had it selected prior. Looks like this eyeball is super out of place. No matters. So we have our thing. Now if you go to save geo, it's going to save the geo as is. So you want to select your little browser section. I want mine to go to this folder and this file and be named this. Then I will go to compute current frame. It's going to save the current frame we're on and export it as an OBJ. But now that I got that done, let's back up a little bit back to wrapping, and we'll see that it says delete polygons. Well, delete polygons is when you would select something, such as the eyeballs and all that you want deleted, but since I never reattached the eyeballs to the left, I can ignore this. That's why I have nothing selected. And then the select polygons would go down to delete polygons, and then it would delete those selected polygons, but since there's nothing to delete, it skips it over. Then it takes your new info and puts it into a transfer texture. This is the cool part, or also another cool part, where it transfers the donor's texture to the target's texture. My Halo Tanaka head's texture to my Genesis 8 female texture. So I have transfer texture on, and I have it set to 4096, 4096. If you're doing the HD version, or I mean the more high quality version, you just double the number so it fits your current texture. Then it's going to stretch it over the model. It's going to try to copy as much as it can, and it'll save the image. So I have my image right here, JPEG, and then I have to hit 100 quality because that's what I want. I hit compute current frame. It's going to go ahead and compute it, and then I can open it up and show you what it looks like. This is the export folder I have, quad skin head R3DS. Open it up in my program of choice. And this is what the model looks like. So, this is the section, I believe, where it was damaged. It's trying to fill in the gap with skin. Because obviously, this is all just fill-in stuff. What we really want is this section, the back of the head, the neck, the front of the neck, other side of the neck, and the back, other side of the head. It's not side of the head. And then the head itself, and then the ears, and the, whatever this thing's called, the thing between your eyes and the skin. So, pretty well as far as I can tell. So open this up. This is my alpha. Go over here. Go to alpha mask. It's going to go ahead and get rid of all the extra stuff. Of course, this is what our texture would normally look like, but, I mean, with an alpha. But notice how it really cleaned up the head. And now I have to go and delete stuff so I can, match the body. So delete the arms because there's no actual arms to copy over for texture wise. So delete. And then I can delete the body part right here until about right here. And now let's go ahead and drop in one of my quad Genesis 8 female bases. So add layer, drag a layer down here. I want to also get rid of this black stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that mask that I had before. And it cleans it up, makes it look nice and pretty. I bring back Tanaka's head texture. I'm going to go ahead and click on her forehead and take this color. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on replace color. Make sure hardness is set to 0, and I'll make my tolerance 75. And I will set my brush to be the biggest possible, and I'll select the dead center of her torso. And hopefully this will come out really well. So it's going to try to match the color or replace the color with whatever I have selected, which may be a little off. So this is going to require some post editing as well. But for now, we should be happy with what we got. So, and remember, a lot of this is just filler. So let's go ahead and go to Erase, readjust your thing. Should do 300, I think. And then start, oops. Make sure you delete on the right plane. So, delete, delete, delete. Try to match the skin a bit. Alright, it's coming out really good. Nice. Very reddish compared to her body, but this is still a pretty good matchup for matching the skin tone. Now, you can always just throw in another base texture if you like. If you want to try the editing again. Oops. Then go here. Oh, click this. Repeat alpha mask. And then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it so I don't have to redo that again. And then I'm going to reattempt to get the skin color for Tanaka. I think I'll do it for the neck this time. Still a little bit lighter. A little bit darker. We can always zoom in and try to get a better one. Because I notice it's pretty dark on the skin. So let's try going for this one. Or this one. Okay, and then let's try this. Come on. There we go. Oh, this one's not bad. Is it the same exact one? Well, I'll find out right now. Alright, so let's take a look and see the comparison. They're exactly the same. This one's a little redder. This one's a little, I like this one more, so I'll delete the first one I did. And now I'll go up here. I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a duplicate and see if I edited the color a little bit, will it look any different? So depending on the program you use, you can edit the color and see if you like what you get. Ooh, that one's pretty good, 79. But it loses its color. Here, let me zoom down a little bit so I can get a better. And then I go back to hue, saturation. Mm, 90. 90 looks pretty good. And now let's reset it to 100. But 100 gives it some of that color. But I notice the neck doesn't really have that much color in it. So maybe 90 was the better option. Okay, so I'll do 90. So then I have my Tanaka skin. And now I'll simply, I'll save it as a template file for Tanaka. So template. So then I don't have to recreate it in case I notice there's an error. Of course, you want to do all the editing now. So like that lip situation, you can go and fix that. So it doesn't show up on your 3D model. Dang it. And remember, if you're doing the, the Super HD 8K texture ones, that's going to take a while. Look how long it's taking for me, and this is just a 4K template. Alright, so I have my template saved now. Let's go ahead and flatten this so I can get my actual quad scenario fixed. So instead of PDN, I want to save it as PNG. I'll name this quad skin head. I probably should have said a head, but oh no, it's head because it's only the head actually has a transfer texture. I just pretty much brushed it in. But now I can do the real work. So 2048 is my magic number. I'll do the torso first. And then I'll name this, oops, I messed up, torso. I had a friend that I was learning this with, and we decided this was probably our best method of keeping it simple and keeping the name easy to find and easy to use. Make this one arms. Back up and then do this whole thing again. 2048, 2048, right corner this time, bottom right corner. Name this one head. Undo again. 2048, 2048. Oops. Never hit the tab button. 2048. I hit caps lock by accident. Switch over here, bottom left. And then save this as legs. So now I have my individual textures made for my actual DAZ 8 model. And like I said before, you want to do your editing here. So if you want to change this stuff, because there's pretty sure there's no, I'm assuming that's an eyebrow inside of their eyes. So let's go ahead and, oops, I forgot I have my brush width at 2000. Just, hide it a bit, use whatever color you want. Not whatever, I'd try to match it as closely as possible, of course. So it looks natural. Alright, looking good so far. Let's take a look at the lips. This, I'll leave it as is, just for now. Lips, maybe this one will do, or maybe this one. Okay, no, that was horrible. Switch down a bit. No, that's not good either. What's this one? Oh yeah, I forgot. This one's good. Nice. Not perfect, but better than what it was. So, now I have my model again. Let's go ahead and resave this as my quad skin head, so I don't lose the progress I just made. And then I'll resave the head. 2048, 2048, bottom right corner, save, head. Overwrite, yes. So now I have my textures pretty much done for Tanaka. And then we can go back to 4D. And if you really want to see how it worked, see if it worked, you can go down to, oops, my thing froze, there we go. Load image, load this one up, change out your load image. So make sure you find it. And then apply it. So I have applied it. Of course the eyes are going to look horrible, but the skin looks pretty good on the model. Of course this is Genesis 8 regular female, so we can hide this one and go down to the wrap. And now we can see her head on the model. And I think it looks pretty good. I think it matches it really well. Of course, notice right here, the ear went through it. I think that's because I didn't put a marker there properly. But you can fix that post-edit. No point in trying to fix that now. But nonetheless, I think it came out really well. For our first attempt anyway. Just a little editing on the eyebrows to make the vertices more smoother. But this is the Tanaka model for now. Of course, when you export the model, save current frame, because I never did that, and then make sure you save your project as well. And then let's see how this looks. And then the eyes, of course, need to be fixed right here.